Are you tired of not being able to go out with your friends? Are you tired of not being able to do the things that you really want to do? Are you tired of just being broke all the time? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how not to be a broke college student. What's up guys, it's Yasser back with another video. On this channel we talk all about thriving in Canada. If you want to see more videos like that, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and here we go. Listen man, I've spent my entire time in university being as broke as you possibly could. I never had money to go out. I never had money, not even to pay my tuition fees sometimes. I didn't have money to go on expensive dates, and probably why I was single for so long. But once I graduated, I realized there's some things that you should do as a student to avoid being broke. Have a budget, know where your money is going, don't have unexpected expenses come your way. Always know where every single penny is going. When I've set a budget, this is what I do. I know how much money I'm supposed to be spending on each of one of these things, and I'll make an Excel sheet for different categories. So I'll write down how much I'm spending and what I'm spending it on. So here, if you can see, you got expenses and what I'm spending my money on, because most of my money goes to food and then everything else that I have to buy. So for example, I spend money on a mattress, I spend money on a desk. I will make sure to tally all of it, and at the end you can see I'll do a weekly total of how much money I'm spending every single week. This way you know exactly where your money is going, you know the pattern at which you spend, and if it's something you don't like, if it's a number too high, you can always tone it down for the next week. And try not to just tap your credit card and save all of that debt just accruing in your bank account somewhere and never look at it, never pay it. Have specific budgets for specific things and spend only within that budget. This should be an obvious one for me as a student. When I was going out, that's where I was spending most of my money. We had the dinners, we had the parties, we had all the shenanigans. That's where all of my money was going. If you really want to limit the amount of money you're spending, avoid going out. I know the supermarket and the restaurants are all nearby and it's very convenient. You can just go and get some food. Who wants to cook at home? But if you want to save money, all the ingredients for the same food are much cheaper to get from a grocery store. Bring it home, make it yourself. This is what I do personally. Okay, I'll cook something like this. This is my coconut bean tofu curry. I'll make a whole pot of this. As you can see, it was pretty full when I made it. I'll make it once, probably on a Sunday or something, and I'm gonna make it in a big quantity, so throughout the week I can go eat it. There's a lot of food. It tastes absolutely great, especially when you've perfected the recipe. Experiment with different things. You save so much money because all of the ingredients that cost me to make this whole tub of food probably came out to around 12 bucks, maybe 13 bucks, and this is enough for me for about 10 meals. I can eat it that long, and you would be spending that same amount on one meal if you're going out. Man, I'll be the first one to tell you, I was that kind of guy who would borrow money hoping that the other person will forget that I borrowed money and then I wouldn't have to pay it. So I would take as long as possible to pay it back, and that's only if they ask me for it. Don't be that kind of guy, okay? If you're borrowing money for someone, pay it as soon as you can, or if you can't pay it, tell them when you'll pay it. Otherwise, you get in the habit of doing that with a lot of different people. You start owing a lot of people a lot of money, and a lot of them really just lose trust within you because you're just an idiot borrowing money. Don't hang out too long around university. You know why? Because all of the restaurants, all the little cafes that are dispersed around the university, they're conveniently located. So if you're studying on campus and you're hungry, guess what? They know you don't have a lot of food on hand. You don't bring your own lunch, so where are you going to spend your money? You're going to spend it on campus, on coffee, on cookies, on donuts, on burgers, whatever. And honestly, most of the time, it isn't the best food, both health-wise and quality-wise, and it's really overpriced because they charge you for convenience for having it on campus. So don't stay around campus after your class unless you absolutely have to. Go home, go somewhere where you have meals prepared, or bring your own meals with you, even better. Say you know you're gonna go to university later on and you don't have any food prepared, you can always find some meals like this one. This will probably cost you like 2 bucks or something. It's a whole bunch of chili in a can. You can see the ingredients. You'll get a lot of other pre-made meals. Make sure to check the ingredients to see that if it is healthy. If you can't take this, take some fruit with you, some bananas. Just make sure you have some food on you so that you're not spending food and money on campus and wasting all that money on food that honestly, it tastes pretty bad anyway, and it'll save you so much money, especially if you're spending a lot of time on campus. Listen, man, unless you've got stock in Apple or Disney, don't buy a car. This is gonna be a big expense. You're gonna have to pay for the car, the lease. You're gonna spend money on parking. The parking here is insanely expensive. You're gonna spend money on insurance. You're gonna spend money on maintenance. Your friends are gonna want to ride. You're gonna get lazy. You're gonna start using your car for everything. Unless you absolutely need it, I would say just don't buy a car. One really good thing about Canada, especially, is if you're student and you don't want to buy a car, there are a lot other options for you to consider. So for example, if you look right across the street from me, you'll see all of these bicycles on the road that you can actually rent and go to wherever you want to go, and they're dirt cheap. Not only that, but if you can see this little antenna, little thing poking out here, that's actually a car called an Evo. So it's essentially kind of like you have this app where you download it, you pay for it, and you step in the car. You actually drive the car yourself, and you drive it to wherever you want to go. They're designated parking lots for where you can park it, and you only pay for that transportation. So you're not paying for any of the insurance, you're not buying a vehicle, and these things you can find pretty much all over the city, at least here in Vancouver. So it makes for so much more of a convenient option, and also you only use the car when you need to, and you're not paying for the whole month, and you're not paying for the whole cost of the car. So you have a lot of different options to consider. You also have Lyft and Uber to take you wherever you want to go, and I think for most students, when they do want to borrow a car, is because they want to go on a road trip somewhere, and you can always rent a car for a day or two when you need to. You don't need to outright buy a car. Lastly, don't spend money you don't have. Don't spend everything on your credit card. Don't spend it on someone else's money, because all of that will accrue interest, and if you don't have the kind of income, especially when you're a student, you're not making a full-time income, you can't pay it, interest will accrue, and you'll owe even more money than you would have before. These are some of the ways where you cannot be broke as a college student. If you have more ways, list them down in the comments below. Check out some of these other videos about financial advice being a student. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.